Okay, so now we want to do the do while loop. So what's the difference between the word while and the word until? So you want to do something until something, you're going to put the condition when you stop. But if you want to do something while something is happening, you're going to put the condition while you want to continue, not when you want to stop. So if we go back to the do until loop, in the last example we had do until the random number is equal to 10. Now we could have said that in English a different way if we used the word while, right? So what would we say? We'd say if we want it to stop here, then we want it to continue when? When it's not equal to 10. So we would write what? Do while this is not equal to, and you know how to write not equal to. You put an open, a less than sign and a greater than sign. That means not equal to. So what do we say? This is do until it equals 10. If we use the word while, we'd say do while this is not equal to 10. So it's kind of just another way of doing this and expressing it. Okay, now we're going to do a different example here. We are going to generate random numbers again. We're just going to do it as long as, or while, as long as this, our random number, is less than 15. So new condition. It's not until it's equal to 10, or while it's not equal to 10. It's while it's less than 15. So as soon as it jumps above 14, in other words, as soon as it becomes 15 or more, it's going to stop. Okay, otherwise everything else is the same. Okay? So set this one up. And run it. Okay? So we'll have the do while case. Okay, when you finish, let's go over it. So I'll give you a minute, or pause the video and finish it, and then we'll go through it. Okay, let's go through it. And first let's read this, the do while loop. It's the conceptual opposite of do until, like we just said. If you do until, then do while, you change the condition to just the opposite of what it would have been if you did do until. This kind of loop keeps iterating while a particular condition is true. So do while it's true. And let's see it in action. So how does it work? Every time you press the button, the loop executes as long as the random number generator produces a number less than 15. A do while loop keeps running as long as the given expression remains true, so as long as it's less than 15. As soon as the expression becomes false, the loop quits. When you start the loop, you check to ensure that it's less than 15. So the first thing we do is we check to see if this is less than 15. Now remember, at the beginning we set it equal to 0, so it will run at least one time because we set it equal to 0. Right? We set it equal to 0 at first. So it will run at least once. The loop will run at least once. So when you start the loop, you check to ensure that this random number is less than 15. If the expression returns true, and you can run the code, then you can run the code within the loop, right? And again, when you get to the loop statement, Visual Basic moves back to the do while statement. So once you get to here, then we go back up to here and check again, is it true? When it gets there, it evaluates the expression again. It evaluates this expression again. If it's true, you can run the code inside the loop once more. If it's false, because int random number is greater than or equal to 15, you continue with the first line after the loop. So you go outside the loop, you go after the loop word, effectively quitting the loop. Okay, let's go on a little bit further. What kinds of expressions are we allowed to use in the while or the until part of the loop? So here's one expression that we used, or we use something like is less than, this is greater than. But we can also use this kind. Remember, he says if you can use it in an if statement, you can also use it in a do loop statement. So this would be allowed in an if statement, right? This one is true and this one is true, right? So you can combine two using the and operator, and you can put that as the do while condition. Okay? You can also do it this way. Do this type. This and this or this. Remember how how you evaluate this. First you check these two, or actually first you check this one. Check is that true? And then check is this true? If they're both true, then this part will be true. And then you compare that with or with this one. If this is true, it doesn't matter whether this was true or not, because the whole statement will be true. And if this is true, this whole thing is true, then it doesn't matter whether this is true, because the whole thing will still be true. Okay? But remember, for this part to be true, both of these have to be true. Okay, anyway, you can have this long kind of compound and or operator statement here, or expression. Okay? And here's another one. Remember this, we used this, or maybe actually we didn't use this, did we? String compare. We didn't use this, but this is comparing whether this string is the same as this string. Actually, I think we did use this. And yeah, actually I think we did use this. So this is comparing whether two strings are the same, and if they're not the same, if they are the same, this will be equal to 0. This will be equal to 0. If they're not the same, it will be different than 0, and this will be, because remember, this counts up how many places where they're different. Okay, so if they're the same, this is going to be equal to 0. So this says do as long as the two strings are not the same, as long as string A is not the same as string B. Okay, so this is just another kind of conditional expression that you can put inside the do while loop as a condition for it to continue, or if you do it with a do until as a condition for it to stop. He says, in short, it's a pretty powerful loop. Okay, next thing is other versions of the do loop. So now we're going to explore putting this part at the end. In other words, putting it here. It says do this, leave this out, do this, and loop while, loop while, put this part down here, and see what difference does it make. And also you could put the until part down here and see what difference it makes. It does make a little bit of a difference, as we'll see. Okay, but let's stop this one and continue with the next.